and welcome back to the Life Scope channel. On your way in, don't forget to like, share, definitely subscribe and support the channel. It's appreciated as always. So I had to come back on here and get back into some Diddy news. A lot has come out since the last time I covered what's going on with Diddy, particularly more lawsuits and more victims. So let's check out some articles to see what the word is that's going on in terms of the Diddy saga. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up an article, and this is going to be by Deadline, and just read to see what's going on now. Sean Diddy Combs faces claims of sexual assaulting 13-year-old girl in 2000 with unnamed male and female celebrity in the latest round of lawsuits. The presently incarcerated Sean Diddy Combs is approaching the first anniversary of Cassie Ventura's quickly settled sexual assault and abuse case against him. Now, 7 new lawsuits filed in the past few hours accuse the one-time music mogul of sexual assault and more, including an attack on a teenage girl with celebrities in the room participating. So let's just stop right there for just a moment. If any of this turns out to be true, meaning they have video, they have pictures, they can prove that she was in the room with these celebrities in any way, I believe it is going to have or play a major role in how much time Diddy gets, because his trial is coming up in May. The DA already has evidence on what they have charged him with sexual trafficking and whatnot. But this right here, yes, it's a civil lawsuit because we know that the 13-year-old girl has to be older now. So this is a civil lawsuit. Statutes of limitations have ran out in terms of charging criminally. So she, the Jane Doe, is doing this through a civil suit. And this is, I'm assuming, because this is back in 2000, it's 2024, 13. So we're just going by the math of the age she was then back in 2000 and how old she could be now in 2024. So that could be one reason that I would think that most of the victims that are coming out now is seeking civil suits because their statutes of limitations have ran out on them. But with this one in particular, because this was a 13-year-old girl at the time, I believe it's going to play a major role in terms of the sentence that he will receive after his trial in May, and then also help with the civil suit whenever this Jane Doe's case goes to court. So if Diddy thought that he was going to be able to touch grass, because he's in his 50s, if he thought he was going to be able to touch grass maybe when he's 60, 70, that he'll be out, I don't know. If all of these civil suits are proven to be true, who knows? The DA could, because their case is still ongoing, even though the trial is starting in May, they're still ongoing. There's still a lot of information that they have to comb through. And I would think while combing through this information, while hearing that these civil suits are coming out, they could easily just dip over to these attorneys like Tony Busby, who is representing this victim, can easily slide over maybe to the different attorneys that are representing the victims and look at the information or the proof that they may or may not have and possibly apply it to what's going on with the DA's case and the charges that they have and with the trial. So we don't know if they're going to I guess do a cross investigation when they're going over to different lawyers and seeing what you got and just kind of possibly working together for the criminal charges, and then with the civil cases may work together in that favor as well. So that's just my opinion. If any of that is true, I really believe that it's going to play a major role, because this is the first time we are hearing about a victim who was an actual child at the time. Like, we can speculate. We speculate about Usher. We speculate about Justin Bieber. We speculate about other different celebrities. But if they have not came out and said, this is what happened to me at this age, and Diddy is the one that did it, then as of right now, even though it exists, it's almost like conspiracy theory. It exists, but it doesn't. So they have not come out. But this Jane Doe is coming out and saying when she was a child, this happened to her, which is making a difference and is taking it up a notch. You probably are never going to get out, Diddy. And I personally, I don't feel no type of way about it. I'm sure his children, if I feel bad, I would feel bad for his children, because nobody wants their children to be in such a way without the parents, if you could help it. That would be the only way I feel bad. But I mean, his children are getting up there, they're getting older. It is a very painful pill to swallow, but these are the consequences that you must face when you are doing some bogus stuff. So let me keep reading with the article. That lawsuit from Houston attorney Tony Busby, who has already filed 6 previously jury-seeking suits against Combs for sexual assault and more, was filed Sunday in New York federal court under the New York City Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act. Busby has previously filed 6 jury-seeking suits against Combs for sexual assault and more. Looking for a place to rest, plaintiff entered what she believed to be an empty bedroom so she could lie down for a moment, reads the lawsuit by a now approximately 37-year-old Jane Doe. So the former 13-year-old victim back in 2000 is now 37, and I guess she is reading some of the information off of the lawsuit, and it's put in this article. Approximately 37-year-old Jane Doe, regarding her actions at a post-MTV VMAs party late on September 7th, 2000. The suit continues claiming that the then 13-year-old Jane Doe was feeling woozy and lightheaded after just one drink at the party. Soon after, Combs, along with a male and female celebrity, entered the room. The 19-page action says Combs aggressively approached plaintiff with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her, and said, "You are ready to party." Combs then threw plaintiff toward another male celebrity, Celebrity A, who removed plaintiff's clothes as she grew more and more disoriented. The lawsuit adds, plaintiff was held by Celebrity A, who, and this is a trigger warning, so I'm just reading it, but this is very triggering, I'm sure, to some of you all, held down by celebrity A, who vaginally sexually assaulted her while Combs and celebrity B, a female, watched. After the male celebrity finished, Combs then vaginally sexually assaulted plaintiff while the celebrity A and celebrity B watched. Combs attempted to force plaintiff to perform oral sex on him, but she resisted by hitting Combs in the neck. He stopped. So let's stop right there. So with celebrity A being the male who forced himself on the 13-year-old at the time victim, and Diddy, who forced himself on the 13-year-old victim, this is gang sexual assault. It's more than one person, and you have someone who is there watching, being complicit, did not do anything to stop it, and that is the celebrity female. And I'm wondering, who the hell are these two celebrities that engaged? Because if Tony Busby, who we covered his press conference that he did, he said that him and his team were going all over all of the information that victims have presented. They have turned down people. So to me, that is saying that some of that information, once they got into it, researched it, they were able to weave out some people. And if he is representing her, then he must feel there is some form of proof to back up what she is saying that's not going to be shared as of right now, because you can't tell everything to us, the public, even though we want to know. And I bet he probably knows who those celebrities are, and they might be sweating in their boots, sweating in their shirt, dresses, whatever, sweating in their $1,000 blouses. They are probably sweating because he has the names. And in fact, I think he has said some celebrities are trying to get ahead of all of this, and they are willing to pay victims just so their names will not be leaked to the public or will not come out, because they don't want the embarrassment. They don't want possibly other people, because you don't know if they were complicit in this type of activity with certain victims that Tony Busby is representing. Then if you did this time, who's to say that those celebrities that was running with Diddy, hanging with Diddy, getting down with Diddy, didn't do this some other time by themselves? Like, they didn't have their own freak off parties or engaged. Because that just seems like a hard thing to do. If you're getting in a lifestyle where you're taking advantage or trying to abuse people, and you're thinking you can get away with it in that way, then you may think you could get away with it in another way at another time. So it's going to be very interesting if they are going to leak who the other two celebrities are. And after their names are leaked, are they going to, and I'm talking about the Jane Doe, is she and Tony Busby, do they have something cooking for the other two people that participated in this abuse? Like, will there be some type of civil suits against them at a later date? So that's just some things that stand out to me right away, and something to keep in mind and for us to watch out for to see if it goes in that direction. Let's keep reading. No more information is given about the pair of celebrities, but it is no secret that Combs' increasingly infamous white parties and other events attracted A-list crowds over the decades. Once the alleged assault by Combs and the unnamed duo ended in this particular filing, the victim got out of the room, out of the large White House, with a gated U-shaped driveway where the drug-fueled party was taking place, and eventually got in contact with her father, who came to pick her up and take her home. After the assault, plaintiff fell into a deep depression, which continues to affect every facet of her life, states the suit from Busby, who filed similar actions October 14th for 4 men and 2 women. With a 1-800 number supposedly ringing off the hook, the lawyer has said his Lone Star State Office has 100 more alleged Combs victims on the verge of going public and to the courts. With a total of 13 suits in the past week alone from Busby, and more expected in the next few days, it doesn't look like the Texan is bluffing. In the second case, in less than a week of Combs assaulting a minor, the more than half a dozen new civil cases from 3 women and 4 men are seeking unspecified damages. Traversing from 2000 to just 2 years ago, the cases claim battery, sexual assault, false imprisonment, sexual harassment, and sexual assault by Combs, and with others in cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas. All the cases say the alleged victims were required to sign restrictive NDAs before entering the parties and other events. Okay, so let's just stop right there on that paragraph. So, Busby seems to be working overtime, and he did say during his press conference that there was a 1-800 number that victims have been calling. So they just reiterated that information in this article, and they're going through all of the information that the victims are given and weaving them out. But with the NDA, what's sticking out to me from this paragraph, with the NDA, I'm wondering, how does that work with the 13-year-old? Was the 13-year-old required to sign an NDA? Because you would think with the NDA, you are protected. And in a lot of cases, an NDA is supposed to protect you. But I don't think you can enter into a contract with a minor, not without the minor's parents or legal guardians signing off on it. So it doesn't say whether or not the 13-year-old signed an NDA, or at least that's what I'm getting from reading this. I don't know if it says that further down, but just going off of this right here, right now, it doesn't say whether or not the 13-year-old had to sign some type of paperwork. And just kind of think back then, 13 years old, you going to a party that was from MTV, VMAs, you thinking it's probably the highlight of your life. You get to see celebrities and stars. And this would be to any 13-year-old female or male. Just kind of put yourself in that position on where you were at that age. If they did put something in front of you to sign and did say, okay, in order to go to this party, and it's okay that you're here, I'm gonna need you to sign this. But I don't think that contract would be legally binding because you can't just enter in a contract with a child. You would have to get their legal guardian or parent. So let's see if that information is coming out. That might not necessarily apply to the 13-year-old. As in all the new jury-seeking suits, the one involving the 13-year-old shows an actual exemplary container used by Combs and members of his team to spike people's beverages with the often harsh GHB drug. And we all know what that GHB drug means. We do know that's the sexual dating drug, sexual assaulting dating drug. Although Combs has denied all allegations, like he always do, he stayed denying stuff against him from longtime girlfriends Ventura and the now more than 20 other individuals who have claimed assault, abuse, and more. The slipping of something that makes them woozy and lightheaded into guest drinks comes up repeatedly in the legal actions against the Bad Boy Records founder, including in the charges of sex trafficking Combs was arrested for by the feds on September 15th in New York City. Now, with that information already being out there, and this is kind of what I'm just like thinking in terms of the jury, whoever they get to be a juror on these trials, because Busby is not going to have this as a class action, meaning all of the victims are not going to get together and then it's just going to be one or two cases that's going to be under the civil suit. No, each victim is going to get their day in court per what Busby has said. So that's a lot of jurors that has to be pulled in order to give a fair trial. And this information about Diddy has been going on since last year. So it just seems like at this point, the juror or the jury may not be a clean jury. I don't know. Just meaning a jury that hasn't really heard about the Diddy news. Now, if there is one, I would think it would be older individuals that really don't listen to his type of music or don't really even know who he is. It would have to be someone of a certain age that just really doesn't know enough about Diddy so that they could have, I guess, a clean slate in their mind of him and be able to give him a fair trial or a fair verdict as a juror. They can go just based off the evidence. But I don't even know if there is such a person. I mean, Diddy is very well known, even if they haven't heard about him or heard about this. They probably have heard about him. He is a very well-known individual, crossing different ages. So let's keep on. How long is this? Okay. Let's keep on reading the rest of this. Representatives for Combs had nothing to say about these new lawsuits except to refer Deadline to their statement of last week, which stated in part that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, adult or minor, man or woman. In that previous statement, Combs reps also called Busby and his initial 6 suits nothing more than a clear attempt to garner publicity. Now, come on now, Diddy. It's not just garnering publicity. I know his representatives have to do that to not only save Diddy's face, but save his reputation. I mean, his life is literally on the line here. So I do understand that his representatives have to speak in that way, and they have to discredit Busby as well as the victims. But saying that it's a clear attempt to garner publicity for what? Like, just think about that. For what? Because at this point, besides the people who are known celebrities or who have worked around in the business that we know of, these people right here are, we'll just say, average individuals that had an opportunity to be next to celebrities or probably worked in that field or know someone that knows someone who is in the business. They are unknown. They're Jane Does and John Does. So what publicity are they trying to garner at this time? It can't be determined right now, in my opinion. That's something that would have to be determined afterwards. Like if, say, for instance, the victims won their cases, they got whatever the amount that they were seeking, they received that out of the Diddy fund. Then after that, now they're making all kinds of documentaries. Now they're on all these news organizations. Now they're doing all of these interviews and they're getting paid for it. Now, to me, that's still their right to do so, especially if it was their story. It proved to be true. All of the evidence showed that they can go around and do a tour based on what's going on with their life, as long as there is an audience that wants to hear what happened to them and them speaking and coming out or coming forward about Diddy and what he has done to them. We'll just say allegedly right now, but what he's allegedly done to them, they can do that. So it seems like right now it's hard to determine this is an attempt to garner publicity. Like, we would have to wait to see if it plays out in such a way, even though they would have a right to do so if all of this proves to be true. However, as these half a dozen actions hit court dockets Sunday, Combs' lawyers in his 6th trafficking and more criminal case from the Department of Justice filed a letter to U.S. District Judge Aron Subramanian to issue an order prohibiting further extrajudicial statements from prospective witnesses and their lawyers that substantially interfere with Mr. Combs' right to a fair trial. This gag order, by any other name, follows a move by the Mark Agnifilo and Tenny Garagas-led defense team to get prosecutors to reveal the names of Combs' accusers and claims by the defense that Homeland Security agents leaked the 2016 LA hotel surveillance footage that showed Combs beating Ventura as she tried to escape one of her then boyfriend's so-called freak-offs. So, I'm glad I did read this article. If you did not catch it, Diddy is trying, him and his attorneys are trying to get a gag order placed on potential victims from speaking. They literally filed a letter to the U.S. District Judge to keep victims from speaking because they feel it is going to interfere. And that's what I was saying in the beginning. Like, if any of the information pertaining to that 13-year-old is remotely true, it is going to have a major effect on how he is sentenced after trial in May. And they may work together or cross investigate, use some of that information to see if it helps with the sex trafficking case. So I am going to go ahead and leave it right there. From this article, that was a lot of good information, I feel, to kind of catch up without just reading the actual lawsuits. It's a 19-page document. So if I do obtain it and I just want to go over it line by line, then I would have no problem reading it with you all. But this gave a lot of information. So what do you guys think? Do you think that this 37-year-old Jane Doe could possibly be telling the truth on something that happened to her when she was 13 years of age? And who do you think are the two celebrities that participated in the abuse at that time? Be sure to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and support the channel. And on that note, until next time, bye.